Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Quotes 128. We have another quote by Albert Einstein today. And here's the quote. You never fail until you stop trying. Okay, yeah, it sounds good. Let's continue with the note here. This quote by Einstein could likely be a way to inspire people to keep trying and not give up. Yeah, on its surface, it definitely does sound that way. Even when you encounter difficulties, if you persist, you keep pushing, you don't give up, you may succeed in the end. Yeah, and this is definitely true for a lot of inventors and people who discover things. A lot of times they fail many, many times before they actually succeed in the end. So this is kind of a thought for a lot of people who are, geniuses or inventors. They don't always succeed right away. Of course, Einstein may also simply be stating a fact. Um, it is only when you officially give up and quit that one must admit they did not succeed at something. Um, yeah, he was a very very simple man in that way that he thought that way. Let's continue. Sometimes you have a good or justifiable reason for giving up. In business, sometimes you hear the phrase to cut your losses. So giving up, even though giving up sounds bad, sometimes it's not always bad. Like in the case of business, where you tried something and you gave it a good shot, but it's really just not working out. You see it's not working out, and the possibility of the future just seems like it's not worth it. Sometimes it is better to, we say, to cut your losses. Maybe the wise thing at that point sometimes is to give up. So giving up is not always terrible. Um, let's continue. Which could be good advice if something is not working out and it doesn't appear to have future potential. Well, let me continue. On the other hand, I am also reminded of a quote from Yogi Berra, a famous ball player, coach, and manager. He used the quote, "It ain't over until it's over." Talking about a sports event. Until like in baseball, until the last out is caught, or maybe the time runs out in basketball or or American football. Until it's really finished, maybe the game is not completely over. Well, here, of course, it was in regard to baseball. If you don't give up, even though you may be very far behind and victory looks bleak, it doesn't look like the possibility that things will work out, that they could be successful. Sometimes you could still pull a victory from the jaws of defeat. Yeah, there's many, many examples I've seen this happen, throughout my life, especially watching baseball. There have been times where, a team could be behind by like 10 runs, but usually it would be early in the game. But sometimes they could still come back to win. It doesn't happen most of the time, but once in a while, every once in a while, you see something like this happen. Kind of amazes you when it does actually happen. I could remember also when I was a kid. I think it was in 1973, if I remember correctly. I think Yogi Berra was actually the manager of the Mets during that time, where I think they were in last place in the middle of the season. Now they were lucky because I think they were only like 7 or 8 games behind first place, but every team was very, very close. So they had a very good winning streak at the end of the year, and they actually won. They won the pennant, where it almost seemed impossible. A team that's in last place during the middle of the season, you always figure, well, they don't have any chance to come back. So this is how this is often used, and this it ain't over till it's over. I've seen some people also use another one, also in regard to the Mets. I think in 1986 when they were playing the Red Sox, it also has to do with like the Red Sox curse. This also like continued the Red Sox curse. The Mets had a great season that year. That was, I think, the best season they ever had. They won like 100 and almost 110 games or something like that. And they made it to the World Series. It was the World Series, the Mets against the Red Sox, but the Red Sox were up 3 games to 2, so it was down to just this last game. It was the bottom of the ninth inning, I think, and they were down to 1 out. They got the first 2 guys out, and I think the Red Sox were ahead by 2 runs. and it looked like, the Red Sox just needed one more out, and finally, they thought they broke their curse at that time. And it didn't happen. Guy got a single, and another guy got a hit, and then there was the big error where a ground ball was hit, and it should have been an easy play, but the first baseman, who's normally a very good fielder, I don't know, I guess he got distracted, and the ball went right through his legs, and they ended up losing that game. So sometimes you just never know. As long as you just never give up. Maybe luck has to be on your side sometimes too. But you never know. Again, you never fail until you stop trying, or sometimes it ain't over until it's over. Okay. Anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it was inspiring. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.